Hi everybody, it's Kate. Today I'm talking about another movie. This one's rough. Like genuinely, as I was watching, I was like, I don't even want to talk about this. And it's not even like in like a funny way. It's in like a, this is really gross. So let's just get right into it. So I watched Never Been Kissed, the one with Drew Barrymore. Yes, that one. And I was like, okay, it seems problematic, and it was. Oh honey, it was. So let's just get right into it because I literally, it's I'm dreading it. Our main character, her name is Josie. She's a 25-year-old editor for a newspaper, and she wants to be a reporter. And then she gets assigned where she's going to be going to a high school undercover and see, like, how kids are these days. And so she goes to the high school. She pretends to be a 17-year-old. She's 25. And I was like, just make this not weird and be a teacher. You know, roleplay as a substitute teacher or something. So Josie goes to high school. She has a hard time because she reverts back to like her like nerd persona, where like she wasn't like super insanely cool in her like job itself, but she had like friends. She was like friendly. She worked hard. Blah 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 blah. Like she was not like an outcast, and then she feels like she's an outcast again in high school. And as someone who was basically an outcast in high school, I get it. If someone was like, "You have to go back to high school right now," I'd say, "No." You know, like I genuinely don't think you could pay me enough money to go back to high school. It was bad. And she had it worse than me. Like literally worse than Carrie from the movie Carrie. It's so awful. And I'll get into it later, but like genuinely she had like the worst time ever, and I was like, how did she get convinced so easily to this? I know it's because she wants the job and everything, but like still, honey, raise your standards a little bit. She goes to school, no one likes her. Like, she meets, like, the nerds and she joins, like, a calculus club. Which, I'm not saying that as, like, a funny way, but it's, like, immediately she goes back to school to learn about, like, how kids are acting now. And she's like, let me join a club. Like, let me join the only club that's basically run by the school. And, like, she keeps going back to the people in her office by being like, yeah, like, I guess I'll try to be popular, whatever. Like, they're like, you need to get in with, like, the people who are partying, and we need, like, drama, and we need all this stuff. And I was like, I thought this was just about, like, how high schoolers act. They give her a little pin, and they record everything that she's doing, and then they're gonna make, like, the story about it. She keeps going to school, and she meets her English teacher, Mr. Coulson. Literally, you're gonna get so mad. You're gonna get so mad, but just let me talk. I don't like this movie either. She reads like Shakespeare, and she's like very smart because she's a freaking reporter, journalist, editor, whatever she does. He's like so impressed by her, and like you can tell that he's immediately into her. She's like reading an excerpt from Shakespeare, basically to the teacher. Like she's like, eh. And she's getting flashbacks to when she was in high school, and oh my gosh, she read a love poem to this guy, like this, like the popularest guy in school, and then he invites her to prom, and she's like, oh my gosh, he's invited me to prom, and then like she goes outside in her dress, like this is like later, like prom night, she's like in her dress, she's waiting for him to pick her up, he's like leans out of the top of the limo, and he brings his girlfriend, and they throw eggs at her. What? They throw raw eggs at a poor girl who got invited to prom. She's still like hanging out with like the nerds, like the not popular people, and basically the editors and like her higher ups are like, you have to be in with the popular kids. So they go to this like dancing club, right? And for some reason the all the students go and the teacher goes. So I have my eye on him, and I think he might need to be on a list, because why are you at a club where a bunch of underage people are dancing? And he brings his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend's like, this is lame, I don't want to do this. And then that's like a turning point in the relationship where he's like, maybe I shouldn't be with her, where it's like, babe, people sometimes don't like dancing. And she's like, yeah, get this out of your system before you move to New York with me. And he's like, and it's like so crazy because he then later on, he confides in his student, well, Josie, and it's like, I guess I should go with her, but I don't want to commit. Girl, then break up with her. Don't be talking about your student. Don't talk to your student about this. But anyways, oh my gosh, it's so awful. She dances. She embarrasses herself, humiliates herself in front of everybody. The next day at school, everyone's mocking her. And she has like the camera on her, right? So everyone in the office is like watching, and it's like a TV show. Literally the Truman Show, but she's aware. But anyway, she talks to her brother. Her brother's name is Rob. He's kind of important. All you know about him is that he works a job that he doesn't like, and he misses his time when he was a baseball player in high school. She's basically being like, I can't do anything, and like I feel so embarrassed. I'm not popular. I can't be I'm like reverting back to my high school self. And he's like, just be popular, because he was popular in high school. And then the next day, this is actually so crazy. The next day he goes to the school and enrolls as a student, and hits on the high school students, the 16-year-old girls. And the amount of times like reporters or like the people like looking through the camera, or Rob the brother, make comments about high school girls. It's like, whoa, I didn't know they grew up so fast.
Dad. Ooh, they didn't look that good when I went to high school.
I think every person in this movie needs to be blown up. Ugh. It's sickening. Like, genuinely, I was watching this and I was like, okay, so not only are they creeps, they're pedos. Like, literal ones, bro. It is awful. It is awful. So, he goes to the school, right? And he gets popular instantly, right? And he starts telling everyone that Josie's really cool. Like, he goes to people and is like, oh, did you hear this about Josie? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like trying to hype her up and like whatever. So there's like a carnival, right? She goes, and the teacher also goes, and she has no one to sit with on the, what's it called? Ferris wheel. He goes and like sits with her, and like it's actually so insane. So he's talking about his relationship with her, right? Which is an already insane no. And then he starts about how like once she leaves high school, all the boys will be lining up for her.
All I can tell you is that when you're my age, guys will be lined up around the block for you.
And then she's like, you're just saying that because you're my teacher. And he's like, I shouldn't say it because I'm your teacher.
You have to say that because you're my teacher.
Actually, I shouldn't say that because I'm your teacher.
I'm not even kidding you. I'm so angry. This movie is so awful. And why was this movie made? Like, I can't even begin to explain to you how angry it is, like, how upsetting it is to watch this movie. Like, it is so hard to watch. You want to kill every single person in this movie. Oh my gosh. It's so... Okay, moving on. And she's, like, really into him. But, like, I'm like, baby, he's into someone who he thinks is 17. But anyways, this guy, literal guy named Guy, a high school student, asks her out to prom. And she's like, okay. And she gets, like, excited and flustered. And I was like, he's a kid. Like, right after she was telling Rob not to hang out with a 16-year-old girl. And then Rob's like, see you on the cell block, sis. Nothing actually happens between any of these grown adults and kids, but even just the talking and the flippancy of it, and that no one's like, hey, y'all are messed up in the head and deserve jail time, it's enough for me to say, you know what, throw the whole movie away. You know, we don't ever need to watch this again. And I don't think anyone should ever watch this again. She goes to prom, and it's couples throughout the ages. So she and a guy who's been kind of like a jerk to her, and the nerd girl who she kind of stopped being friends with once she got popular, because all the popular girls thought that she was super cool because Rob told them that she was super cool. It doesn't really matter. And so she and Guy dress up as Rosalind and Orlando from Shakespeare's As You Like It, which, if you don't know, it's basically like she's the man. So all of her coworkers are watching this and they're like betting on if she's gonna be like prom queen or not. And this reminded me a lot of like Miss Congeniality, when all of them surround the thing and do it. And in both, I feel grossed out and creeped out. So let's just stop doing hidden cameras. I think that's another part of this movie where it's like, why do you have a hidden camera in a high school? Just saying. You don't need it. But so she is like dancing with him, whatever. She gets voted prom queen. Then, oh my gosh. Okay, guys, hold on to your butts. This part's crazy. The teacher dances with her. Yeah, they dance. And while this was happening, Guy dances with the nerd girl who was originally friends with Josie, right? And they're dancing, and then Josie kind of notices that like the three popular girls are like opening like a can of dog food, which I know sounds crazy, but doesn't sound. And she's like, wait a second, they're gonna pour dog food on her, and they're all in on this. So she quickly runs, shoves the dog food out of the way, saves the friend, and is like, you guys are awful, blah 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 blah. And they're like, you don't deserve to be prom queen. She's like, you're right, I don't. And she throws it to the ground, and she's like, I'm a 25-year-old.
I'm 25 years old.
Baby, don't say that. After she says this, the teacher runs out, which, if anything, I thought he would be, like, relieved because he's not going to jail. She's like, and Rob, help me. And that's my brother. And then Rob runs out being like, I shouldn't be around all these kids. And it's like, yeah. And it's supposed to be, like, funny. And I was like, this isn't. Y'all piss me off. She goes outside after she, like, explains that she's, like, a reporter, and she leaves. And then one of her boss, basically, is, like, outside, like, getting mad at her. Sorry. And then she sees that the teacher is sitting outside, so, like, he comes up to her and is, like, pissed. And he's like, you thought it'd be happy that I'm actually, like, that I'm allowed to be attracted to you? And she's like, you're attracted to me?
What, you were hoping what that I'd be happy? Why, because it turns out all of a sudden I was allowed to be attracted to you?
You were attracted to me?
Damn it, Josie. You set me up for a story. I don't know you at all.
And he's like, I don't even know you. And I'm like, babe, you liked her better when she was underage? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? So, like, everyone's mad at her. Even Rob is mad at her about being like, I was on the baseball team, I was gonna kill it, and you ruined it. And it's like, baby, you're 20 plus years old. You're old. So she writes her story, like, because she's been kicked out of the school, obviously. And she writes about, like, how, like, she felt like a nerd in high school. She's never been kissed. And, like, describes, like, all the students. And is basically, like, there's always these people who are this and there's blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, we know that there have always been popular girls. We've always known that there are people who like science, you know, whatever. But then at the end, she's like, and there's a teacher there who I want to say sorry to. And if you care about me, meet me on the field, the baseball field at home plate and kiss me. Which, if I was that teacher, I would not admit to falling in love with my student. I'm sorry. I wish it would be so fucking funny if when she did that and he comes out, they just arrest him and are like, we got you. You're going to jail. And then they arrest everybody. You know, I think that'd be a good end to this movie. But no, so she's like on the baseball field and no one comes. So she's like, I guess the teacher doesn't like me. She's standing there. And then he runs up and kisses her. And everyone is like cheering. And then we find out that Rob is the baseball coach for high schoolers. Don't let him near kids. He's into a 16-year-old girl. Also, we also find out that he broke up with his girlfriend. The teacher did. We find that out way earlier. It doesn't really matter. So that's the movie. I think it would have been better if she pretended to be a teacher. Because then you could still have like she has to stand up for this bullied girl and she's trying to navigate feeling like the loser in high school. But then also not have it be where there is a creep as the love interest. Okay? She's also a creep though, because she like is like super excited that a 16-year-old asked her out. But Rob's the bigot. Actually, I don't know between Rob and the teacher who's the worst. Rob, probably. I don't know. And after he pretended to be a student at the school hired him. Genuinely do not recommend this movie unless you want to be like really pissed off the whole time, where it's like you can't even enjoy it and like have fun. Where it's like in other movies where it's like, oh my gosh, she's lying to her, but they're also both the same age and it's not as creepy. Like 10 Things I Hate About You, right? This was a rough one. I'm sorry I'm not that funny today. It was just like one of those movies where I'm like, it feels inappropriate to joke about a little bit. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, because if you don't, you'll be forced to go back to high school. Okay. Bye.